This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Chelsea. Chelsea is a champion surfer, so she's accustomed to moving super fast, which is why she relies on super fast broadband brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her family sharing and surfing and saving each month. Combined, she bundles her Flow mobile, home phone, and TV services, so she can enjoy much more for much less, and so can you. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Monday, September 5th, and time for the Barbados Today evening update. Thanks for joining us with the news. I am Fernella Wedderburn. Jamar Scott's family is still trying to come to grips with his death. The 30-year-old Lot 34 Leadville Christchurch resident died on Saturday afternoon at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, 9 days after he was admitted with severe burns. He was injured while using a power washer at Purity Bakeries, where he worked as a maintenance worker. His fraternal brother, Jamel, said Jamar was a good man who did not deserve to die the way he did.
He should have been out of the country right after the accident. No 9 days should have passed and he should have been still in this country, laying down in the hospital day. The doctors did what they could do, but the other persons, everybody else that was involved, just wasted time. That's all I have to say.
What kind of person
He was a fun person. He liked to hang out and learn. When he wasn't at work, he would learn. He had a lot of friends. A lot of people knew him. Everybody would say something good about it. You could never say anything bad about Jamar. He had a lot of friends. I know he will be missed by everyone.
In other news this Monday, Chief Justice Sir Marston Gibson says he's made a formal request for 3 additional High Court judges to deal with a backlog of criminal cases. Addressing the legal fraternity at the Appeals Court this morning to mark the beginning of the legal year 2016-2017, Sir Marston revealed that at present the courts have over 172 criminal cases to adjudicate. He said a request was also made for a replacement for Appeals Court Judge Sherman Moore, who retired a year ago. Sir Marston says the additions are needed since the Magistrates Court Amendment Act, which was passed, will see an elimination of preliminary inquiries. MP for St. Michael West, Michael Carrington, expresses concern over allegations which link people in high office to criminals, and he's appealing to the public to desist from such practices. Carrington made the comments as he addressed the constituency branch meeting last night.
You cannot make the bold suggestion that there are people in high places who are harboring criminals or dealing with criminals and so on, and just leave it at that. It's unfair, not to the politicians. I don't mind the politicians. Most of our backs are broad and so on. It's unfair to Barbados. It's unfair to our institutions. And when you start doing that, you run the serious risk of making people lose faith in the institutions. People have lost enough faith in politicians and parliamentarians and government and so on for years now. And we keep wondering why. We keep doing these things, and yet we keep wondering why only 62%. And that's a good turnout in terms of the region and so on, you know. Why only 62% of the elected vote?
Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Rudy Grant, wants Barbados and the rest of the region to review the taxes charged on airline tickets for regional travel. Addressing a media conference this morning at Sandals, Barbados, to announce that this is the live tourism promotion, Grant said transportation in the Caribbean was an important one that should be made more affordable.
I can tell you that I know that the question of regional transportation is one that is very topical, and at the level of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, certainly at the board of directors, we've had discussions relating to that, because I am one of the persons of the view that every effort should be made to look at the level of taxation and to encourage more regional travel. Because I think it is important that within the Caribbean region that we are able to facilitate persons visiting our various destinations.
Prince Harry is scheduled to visit Barbados and several other Caribbean Islands later this year. According to Kensington Palace, the 31-year-old will tour the region on behalf of his grandmother, the Queen. His visit will coincide with Barbados' 50th anniversary of independence, as well as that of Guyana, and the 35th anniversary of independence of Antigua and Barbuda. He is also down to visit St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In sports, West Indies selectors named Evan Lewis, Alzaria Joseph, and Craig Brathwaite in the one-day international squad. However, there was no room for big hitter Chris Gayle. The selectors showed faith in the abilities of Nicholas Puran and Rovman Powell and named them in the 15-member T20 international squad. Jerome Taylor has also returned to the T20I fold, while the selection committee continued to ignore Darren Sammy. Ashley Nurse found a berth in the 15-member ODI team as the selectors decided to include 3 spinners in the squad. There was no place for Royston Chase in either of the squads. The West Indies are scheduled to play 3 T20Is, 3 ODIs, and 3 tests in the series against Pakistan, starting from September 23.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only 225, 220. Who? For what? That's bare stale news. I don't read about that from Barbados today since last night. That can't only can't do. 220. Who?
Barbados Today. News you can trust.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper. Only 225. Let's get your paper. You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados Today app on my phone and I just get my news for free. What do she?
Barbados Today. News you can trust.
To news from the region, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley gives his government an above-average grade as it marks its first year in office. But opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar says, not so fast. We get more in this report from Joel Brown of TV6 News.
Dr. Rowley graded his administration's first year in office a 7 out of 10. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar gave the Rowley administration's first year in office an E grade, especially in the war on crime, the economy, healthcare, social issues and governance matters.
In each of these, the government has not been able to show anything. In fact, if I were to take a full-page advertisement at any one of the newspapers, and at the top of the page I should ask, what has the Rowley administration done for the past year? The entire page will be blank.
Further afield, Brazil police used tear gas, stun grenades and water cannons as clashes broke out at the end of what began as a peaceful protest. Police say they were forced to take the measures to avoid vandalism. Several people were reportedly injured, including a BBC journalist. Some protesters responded by throwing bottles and stones at riot police and building and setting fire to barricades. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets to demonstrate for a 7th straight day against the new president, Michel Temer. Temer took office after Dilma Rousseff was removed from the presidency in an impeachment trial. And on that note, we come to the end of our news and sports update, but there's more on our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also, subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izimi Media and bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.